You're listening to Teach Me the Bible podcast. Our mission is to help the people of God understand the Word of God. Join us each Monday and Thursday for new episode releases. Listen to our full library of content at teachmethebible.com or by downloading the Teach Me the Bible app from any app store. You're listening to Teach Me the Bible podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Teach Me the Bible podcast. I'm Alex Wolf. I'm here with Dr. David Klingler, and we are into our Genesis series. And so we are picking up this week in chapter 9. We've been tracking this story so far. We've been looking at Noah the last few weeks, and remember, kind of bring back to your mind, Noah's father Lamech named him Noah, meaning rest, saying this one will give us rest from the toil which arises from the curse, from the land that the Lord has cursed. And so he's looking for Noah to give rest to the sorrow of mankind. But we just found out at the end of chapter 8 that that's not what Noah accomplished. Rather, Noah brought rest to the sorrow that the Lord had. And so we're kind of tracking that story. We're going to pick up in 9 and kind of finish out Noah's story here. So you want to? Yeah,
just a note by way of reminder. And I think I'm pretty sure we mentioned this when we went through it. But back there in chapter 5, verse 29, the verse that you were referring to, he called his name Noah, which comes from the root rest, saying, "This one will give us," and then that word actually isn't rest; it's nacham, comfort. This is the one who will comfort us from our work and of course, as we said, that's the irony that goes into 6:6. And so there's a lot going on there. But Alex, as you were saying, this restful aroma goes up, and so the Noah's ministry doesn't fix the problem, but it does bring rest to God's wrath, and it introduces the whole burnt offering that Israel is going to emulate in the book of Leviticus. And so all through this story, the story is kind of picking up speed. It's picking up details. And of course, the question is, back in chapter 5, chapter 6, is this going to work? Is this going to wipe out the Nephilim? And there's this imagery that is repeated. Water was covering the face of the earth. The wind or the spirit is hovering over the waters. It's moving over the surface. Dry land appears. They're going to find themselves in not in a garden this time, but in a vineyard. And both of these stories end up naked and ashamed. And
there's a recreation, so to speak.
And of course the point is, nope, didn't work. And so not only do the nations, the representatives of Satan, the nations that are going to surround Israel, all of the Amorites, Hittites, Canaanites, Jebusites, all of these ites that are going to show up later in the story are going to be populated here, coming out of this scene and going into chapter 10. But also the promise; they're going to track the promised seed again, and you learn some things, right? And so 9:1, and God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth." That's 1:26 to 28. It's the
same command. Yep.
And the fear of you and the terror of you shall be on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the sky, and everything that creeps on the ground, and all the fish in the sea. Into your hand they are given. And every moving thing that is alive shall be food for you. This is new. I will give to you as the green plant, as I gave the green plant. Only you shall not eat the flesh with its life, that is, with its blood. And again, we're setting up this whole category of the offering and sacrifice, and life is in the blood, and there's a lot that's going to flesh out as we continue in the story. So we'll let it simmer. And he says, verse 5, "And surely I will require your lifeblood from every beast. I will require it, and from every man, and from every man's brother I will require the life of man. So whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of God, he made Adam. He made Adam. if someone, this is this sheds the blood of Adam, in Adam, his blood will be shed, or shafak is, poured out, right? Because in the image of God, he made ha-adam, the man, right? Verse 7, and as for you, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth abundantly, and multiply upon it. And God said to Adam and to his sons with him, saying, now, behold, I have myself established a covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds and the cattle and all this. This is the covenant, that they will never be cut off by water of the flood again. So neither shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, this is the sign of the covenant which I am making with you and every creature. I set my bow in the cloud. It will be a sign of a covenant between me and the earth, the land. And it shall come about that when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and you'll remember my covenants between me and you and the living creatures of all the flesh, and I'll never destroy with the flood again. And so this is the sign of the covenant established between me and you and all the flesh. So a couple things have been introduced here. Whereas before, back in chapter 4, for example, Cain kills Abel. Mm-hmm. The Lord shows up and pronounces the judgment, right? So it's the Lord doing the judging. Mm-hmm. The Lord's doing the judging here in chapter 6. But now you're going to be looking for a man, a man who's going to judge. By man shall a man be judged. Mm-hmm. And of course, the question is, who is the one who has the right to judge? Who's the image bearer that's going to come on the scene and judge? So you're starting to build this anticipation.
Well, I think one thing I've heard you say before is what's important in a scene is what changes the story. Right. And this is something that's new, right? It's something that's changed. The plot is on the move. Okay, focus on that is going to be important, right?
Yeah, so what's new? A lot of things are the same after the flood. There's a few things that are new. One is the eating of the flesh, not the blood. Another is man will judge man. And this is the establishment of human government, as we're looking for the one ultimate one who's going to judge on behalf of man. But here's the institution of human government, men judging over men. And so we pick it up in verse 18. Now all the sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem and Ham and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. Well, this is going to be important.
Big deal. That's
because,
a big
name. The story is heading towards the land of the Canaanites.
Right.
These were the 3 sons of Noah. And from these, the whole earth was populated. And Noah began farming and planted a vineyard, and he drank the wine and became drunk and uncovered himself in his tent. So, again, here's this uncovered, they hid themselves because they were naked, chapter 3 story, and the Lord provides a covering for them, not from the fruit of the ground. And here it is that Noah is uncovered again. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his brothers outside, and Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon their shoulders and walked in backwards and covered the nakedness of their father. Of course, this covering and nakedness, this is also going to be this theme that's going to continue, but it's working right out of chapter 3. And their faces were turned away so that they did not see their father's nakedness. And when Noah woke from his wine, he knew that what his youngest son had done, and he said, "Cursed be Canaan," right? So this goes back to the Lamech, on the bad side, the Cain line, where for the first time a man is cursed, and now here the cursing picks back up. So blessings and curses. Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. And he said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. And may God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant." So this is all going to play out in the story, right? So we're going to develop these genealogies. excuse me. And for example, in the next chapter, and we'll pick this up next time, the sons of Ham were Cush. This is in 10:6, and Mitzrayim and Put and Canaan. Well, you're going Mitzrayim. I don't know what that is. Well, that's Egypt.
There's some bad dudes.
Yeah. This is so. This is this is not only the Canaanites, but Egypt, and we're going to watch how this is going to play out in the Exodus story, right? The Mitzrayim,
and you even see down. That kind of develop into Assyria and Nineveh and these other bad guys in the story that are going to show up later.
Great cities, Babylon, Nineveh, all of
these are all coming from Ham.
The big players in this story that are out there in Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Isaiah, Jeremiah.
That's right.
They're all being introduced into the story here, so that Israel knows where these people came from. Because remember, one of the things that I think we miss is that we weren't the original readers. And so Moses is writing to Israel, who's about to take the land, and we've said this before, so that Israel would know who they are, why they exist as a people. So he's developed. Here's who you are. You're from the line of Shem, and what's going to happen on the other side of this this chapter, on chapter 10, is we're going to pick up this Shem line and we're going to drop it off. We're going to walk this thing right down to this person named Abram. And Abram's name is going to be changed to Abraham, and so we got to move the plot to get to Abram. So who you are descendants of Shem, which led to Abram, whose name was changed to Abraham, who had Isaac, who had Jacob, who had the 12 sons. And they're, the carrier, this nation is the carrier of the promise, and they were to be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. So they need to know who they are and where they're going. They're going to the promised land. Say, promised land? Well, we hadn't gotten there yet. That's not in the story yet. See, Moses is still
chapter 12
developing the story. They need to know why they're going there and what they're supposed to do when they get there until the promised one comes. And so all of this is developing. And so what we tend to do is take our theology that we have developed, that's been developed through the whole story, and back it up into the earlier stories and dump it there as if that's why that story was written. You may see some consistent truths that are revealed later that show up here, but it's not explicit. And what that does is it flattens out the progression of the revelation. You're no longer reading it as a story. You're just going into a scene of a story and looking for your theology, the things that you want to say, right? And as we've said before, you can do that in any movie. You can import your theology into any scene, and you can see the
make it fit.
Sovereignty or redemption, or you can see themes and that type of stuff, and that's just not how it works. But anyway, and so you get this pronouncement of judgment upon Canaan, but blessing upon Shem, and then Japheth, to let him dwell in the tents of Shem. And Noah lived 350 years after the flood, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Now
it's the same language as the genealogy.
We are still in the chapter 5 genealogy. And so back in chapter 5, we had a couple of expansions, right? Enoch lived for 65 years and became the father of Methuselah. This is in 521. And he had other sons and daughters. And so all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, for he was not, and God took him, right? That's verses 21 through 23, there's some extra detail in there. And then we go down to, the kind of the standard deal is this person lived this long, had this son, had other sons and daughters, and he died, right? No inclusion, okay? No extra information. And then you get to Lamech. He lived for 182 years, became the father of a son, and called his name Noah. And there's a little expansion there. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah became the father of Shem and Ham and Japheth. and Noah lived 350 years after the flood, and all the days of Noah were 900, and he died, right?
So we've got a big expansion here.
There's this big explanation.
Yeah.
There's this big, we need to flesh this story out a lot.
Right.
Because there's a lot of details here. They're going to be directly relevant to Israel and to their history, and they need to know this. What did they need to know about Methuselah? Apparently nothing, other than he lived, had a son, and the next guy comes on the scene. What did they need to know of Noah? Quite a bit, right?
Well, it's interesting too. It seems, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have what you had with Seth and Cain before this is now kind of showing up again between Ham and Shem.
Yeah, the enmity is going to show right back up.
But now it's coming through Noah. So whereas they were two lines before, they converged to one line and they split again. So you got to know how that happened, right?
Right. Yep. And so where did all these people come from?
Yeah.
Where did the bad guys all come from? Let me tell you a story, right? And he goes back and establishes this story. And so we're kind of coming to the end of the Noah section, right? And now we're going to detail this out even more. Now we're going to focus in on the three sons. We're going to focus in on Shem and Ham and Japheth. And we're going to, and here are the sons of Ham, and then here are the sons of Canaan, because you're going to need to know Canaan became the father of the Heth, which are the Hethites, and the Jebusites, the Amorites, and the Girgashites, the Hivites, all of the ites that you're going to see at the conquest.
Yeah, we're going to start seeing more families and nations rather than individuals, right? Yeah.
And then there's Shem, the genealogy of Shem, and so that's what we'll pick up next time in chapter 10.
That's good. All right, well, I got nothing more to add there. We'll see you next week for chapter 10.
For more resources, visit teachmethebible.com or download our app from any app store. You can partner with Teach Me the Bible in helping the people of God understand the Word of God by subscribing and sharing with others. Thank you for listening to Teach Me the Bible podcast.